Hey everyone, welcome back to the CharterSills YouTube channel. We are really glad you are here. Today we're going to be looking at a few CharterSills design projects and talking through what stands out, what works well, and where things could have been pushed a bit further. Joining us are designers Brad and Elizabeth, who will be sharing their thoughts and insights throughout the video. Let's get into it.
All right. Moving into this first project, it's a restaurant project. Brad, what are your first thoughts looking at this?
Well, I think initially this looks pretty fun. I mean, I just kind of describing what I see. You have the lights there on the ceiling that almost looks like stars because it's so dark, and then you have some of the tables highlighted and with some accents on the walls. And my initial reaction would be, yeah, this looks fun and inviting and a nice casual atmosphere to sit in.
Yeah, I'd eat here. Do you know when this project was completed?
Yeah, so this was the restaurant within 21C, which is a hospitality project that we did in St. Louis.
Mhm.
And it finished, I would say, in 2023.
Okay.
So the whole theme of the 21C brand is they have art that they're moving in and out of the space.
Mm.
So throughout the hotel, they'll have sculptures and art, and it changes. So they've always taken this real dramatic, fun approach to what they do.
Okay, yes. I love the drama in this. I love how clean it is in here, how there's not, a lot of pendants kind of blocking the sight lines.
Mm-hmm. I do want to talk about a couple of things that I see, and one of them are the top of the tables. Some, those in the center are a lot brighter, or they're actually white as opposed to the other ones on the side.
It looks to me like they're marble and the ones on the side are wooden. But I get what you're saying. I've heard of a lot of discussion about light levels in restaurants and
Yep.
how you want a nice punch just on the tables.
Yep.
You don't necessarily need it for the areas where people are walking through the space. And, finishes do play a big role in that because
Yep.
they probably, when this project was completed, calculations were run to check the light levels on these tables. And you can see in this picture the difference in what finishes can do
Yep.
within projects.
Absolutely. And you're probably right. That's probably marble as opposed to wood. And that's one of the main thing. I go to many restaurants too, and especially when they're dramatic. And I always laugh when I see people pulling out their phones and turn on their lights because they can't actually see the menu. And so I think in restaurants such as this where there's high drama there, it's important to get light where you want it and get it off of where you don't.
Yeah, and we want to make these spaces accessible for everybody. My eyes aren't as good as they were when I was
Mm-hmm.
20, and they're going to get worse as I get older. So, making sure that there is enough light so that people, as they age, if they need additional light, there is something there, but being careful not to flood into the space too much.
Correct. Correct. And they're trying as well. It looks like there's like a candle or whatnot on the center of the table, which I know a lot of restaurants these days are doing that, whether it's a lamp or a candle or whatever to provide that a little bit extra.
Just a little bit so you can hold your menu close to the candle and read.
Yeah. Correct. The other thing I wanted to note too is on the right side too, you have that linear to on the other side.
This
Up the
behind the
wall.
big
And I think the concept there is good. I think in the execution, it could have been a little better, in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks almost like we're seeing a little bit of glare or a little
Hmm.
bit of a hot spot.
Correct. And so I don't know if that's just the install. I don't know if it's a fixture choice or if it's just an install that it's not necessarily able to, feather up the wall and highlight that a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know if the wood is glossy, but maybe something, like you said, something with optics behind there besides something that's just a, a linear light that allows glow.
Correct. Or it could be an install issue. I've seen
Yeah.
those as well, not necessarily a fixture, but an install issue.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how important it is that you get the positioning of linear lights correctly. And if it's not right, you're going to end up with hot spots.
Correct. Or shadows where you don't want it.
Mm-hmm. So this is a hotel room. My initial thoughts is, I really like this, but I do have a controversial take for hotel rooms. And that is, I don't think they need ceiling lights at all. I kind of shy away from anything on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is kind of, rarely do you see a sculptural fixture like this on the ceiling. And
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of whether the sculpture fixture's there or not. I'm just not a big fan of that look, but that's an interior designer and a
Yep. There's a designer in there that wanted to see something sculptural, as you said, on the ceiling. And, this does have like nice lines and it's
Mhm.
black, so it kind of matches the molding around, some of these features.
Mhm. And when I look
Yeah.
at this as a hotel room, I see there's plenty of layering of light with the lamps and everything else. I think it'll be fine with or without it.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the challenge too with this project was that it used to be like a YMCA type building. So I don't know if we had like that ceiling box was fixed. And I don't know if we
Mm.
had the option, I'm trying to think back if we had the option of moving it or if it was set in a way that we couldn't move it. Because ideally, I would think if you wanted to have a sculptural element up there, maybe pull that back into the seating area, you know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
or not,
that
and not have it.
that would make sense for why that's positioned there. Um, because yeah, like you said, it doesn't really make too much sense to have it centered in the room because, we want lights to actually help us, make focal points in the space. And that's not exactly creating a focal point in the space.
Right.
Yeah, or I was thinking if there was a junction box and you needed to use it, have a very flat, indirect type light source up there that just has another layer of light.
Not something that you can swing from in the room. I don't know.
Well, now you're getting into a whole different issue, right?
Right. All right, next slide.
All right. Okay, so moving into a museum space.
Yeah, so flexibility.
Yeah.
Yep, it's, very important to be able to change lights. So tracks are very common in museums. This looks to me like a line voltage track.
Hmm.
And I like the color temperatures. I'm looking at this and I see, the light that's actually on the objects that we're highlighting. It looks good. I think that the min-max ratios look pretty good too. That's pretty important for museums is to, make the art really light up. Could be a little bit darker, I think, in the walking areas, but there are ceiling lights, so maybe those just need to be dimmed down.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell with the picture too, because the
Yeah.
camera adjusts all that too. So yeah.
When was this project finished?
So this was part of the 21C still. This is
Oh,
all
okay.
the same hotel project.
Okay.
So I believe 2023.
Okay. So is this space used for, since it's a hotel space with like a, a museum feature in it, do they use this for like parties or
They
was it?
would, yes.
Yeah, they would.
Mhm.
So we might need, it might have been discussed that you want the light levels to be able to get a little bit higher if people are walking around in there with plates of food or, something.
Yes.
The only thing that I would say that I probably would have done differently is I might have gone with a low voltage track and gone with smaller track heads, or I mean, you don't really want to change anything in that coffered ceiling.
Yeah, that's good. Good suggestion. Great suggestion.
Okay. I think I'm gonna move on to the next slide. Okay,
Same project.
same project.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
There are picture lights. They're really thin, so they're hard to tell where the picture light actually is, but it looks like it's just above that,
Yeah.
the hot spot where it is. And it looks like maybe this art piece was chosen after the lights were laid in, or maybe it was changed after everything was installed.
Yeah. I think in something like this, with an art piece like that, you would want to light the whole wall and let the art piece do what it does.
Yeah, I agree.
And the other issue, it seems like there's different color temperatures with the big lights over the tables as opposed to that on the wall, and with the whiter light on that wood paneling, it doesn't really pop that at all.
It
And I
looks
do
like,
know the wall fixtures were fixed based on the previous install. So the
Okay.
location was already set. And I'm sure the art was introduced after the design was completed.
It
okay,
looks that way.
yeah. So, I think I've seen manufacturers that are able to do continuous rails of
Mhm.
picture lights, and maybe where the power is would have allowed you to just kind of jump, from power supply to
Mhm.
power supply without
Right.
having to, break it up. But that would depend on, coordinating with the manufacturer and making sure everything's in place. And um, if the customer wanted to go that route as well, it would obviously be, a pretty customized fixture.
Yeah. But doable. I mean, you could keep the same junction box and have a linear that goes all the way across and pops out of the wall a foot or so
Yeah,
and cover that. So
very cool. I love that
Nice.
tapestry on the wall. This is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool piece of art in the center. I love how clean the lighting is, how it doesn't really take away from, the elements that are in the space. It kind of just, it looks like it's a part of the ceiling without becoming, which is very clean, and I would say a little bit older than, what's on the bottom. Very modern pieces of furniture, modern art on the bottom, and it kind of, between the white ceiling and the colorful bottom, I think it really nicely balances out.
I would agree. I would agree. The only thing that I would probably have looked at a slightly different is the lights that are highlighting the columns, those linears. I would probably do a single downlight and focus it mainly on the dark tile, and so you don't get that contrast there. But yeah, I think this was successful.
Yep. Lauren, any comments?
Yeah, one giant marble, and I
I love
agree
it.
that
The
that
I
marble,
thought, how did they get that thing in there?
just push it. Just roll it in.
So awesome.
I love this.
Yeah.
Is that ceiling tile? Do you remember?
I don't believe it's tile, but it is. I think it's one. I
Fabric.
couldn't speak to it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think this is very successful.
mhm. I think that the supports for this fixture, because it looks like to me that there are some suspension cables I can
Hmm.
see in the corners. And I think that was done very nicely. I don't see any ceiling um, canopies that take away from the, design feature of the ceiling. And I think it really does provide nice illumination in the space.
Yeah, it's so minimal that at first glance it almost reads as if it's backlit, just like it's
And
this continuous backlit. It's so um, well distributed on the ceiling.
yes. And
Yeah.
that honestly was my first take, is I thought that this was a backlit stained glass ceiling or something like that. But I took a closer look and I was like, oh, it's the tongue below the fixtures. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I think this is very successful.
So we're moving on to our next project.
So Chicago Park District, Chicago. The Chicago Park District headquarters, excuse me. So.
I love this. I love this feature here with the wall grazers, you know, showing those different textures and then the little circular window.
Mm-hmm. I like that too. The thing that I would and again with a project like this, it's hard to know with budgets and time and everything else. But I almost would like to put like a really small narrow focused light behind each one of those half rounds, or every other one, or every third, or whatever. So at night, it really, you start to see that texture as it goes around. I think it would have been fun. And you could put it behind and just light the screen so you don't really see the light.
Yeah, that would have been um, a nice alternative to light these. I do see, some lights on the outside of the metal,
Mm-hmm.
As you move towards the left of the image. And I
Yes.
can't see where that's coming from.
It looks like it's coming from the ground right there, just up lights.
Mhm.
But I think if you got a narrow beam and just put it behind, the bottom of the screen and just shined up and in between each one of those, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Oh.
think on this image if we're starting to look at the backside, and that's why on the left there's a little bit more. You see a little bit more illumination on the half rounds,
Mm-hmm.
and on the backside, if it is the backside, where it's just starting to die out a little bit, but it also I think it helps kind of frame in all the grazers that are happening.
Yes.
Okay, gonna move on.
Oh, there we go.
All right. So this is um, is this another side view? Or is this the front entrance?
I guess I think this would be the backside. So we're seeing into some of the public, some of the meeting spaces.
I really like how it brings the inside out. Like it looks like you could almost not even have this glass here in these. I can't tell if this is a break area or meeting rooms, but you can't even tell that there's glass there. And then right above that, it looks like they have an outdoor seating area.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. And then, okay. So we have that unfinished brick inside the space. So was this a building that already had brick or was it designed to look this way?
Designed to look this way. It's new construction.
This was new construction. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I know that this is like an interior space, but I just wonder if there was an opportunity to, do more of the grazing for all of these brickwork that they did along this wall. It is against windows, so maybe it's not the best location and maybe that's why they removed it. Or maybe it's not a space that a lot of people would be walking through all the time. Well, that's just my thought looking at this. Tree lights. I think the positioning of those is great. Drives me crazy when I see trees that they focus on illuminating the trunk of the tree and not the leaves.
Yeah. It gets tricky too as the foliage grows too, and how to adjust for that.
Yeah. Hopefully these won't have to be adjusted for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Then the distance. It's just a really cool project.
It is.
All right, moving on. This is the Chicago Union Station Great Hall. Lots of decorative features on this one.
Lots.
I think this one's done really, really well. I think if you go to the next photo, yeah, where you go into this big room and it's lit above and it just pulls your eye up, whereas all the grandeur and all the detail is, and there's still plenty of light on the ground. I think it's done very well.
It's gorgeous. I would love to walk through this space and just see everything that is going on and how people interact in these spaces. I think, when you illuminate those vaults, it, it makes them seem taller, so it makes the room seem grander.
Yep. And the nice thing about this is you don't see the lights.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I think
nothing that.
before the renovation, it was just a bunch of clunky, big, metal halide fixtures up
Yeah.
there that were throwing light everywhere. Having the opportunity to go on site with a lift, mock it up with the LED,
Hmm.
check and test, such a big difference.
Mhm.
Really fine tune it.
So
Yep.
these lights must put out a lot of light if we're able to light this entire space
Hmm.
without anything aimed down, because this is a really tall wall above it and ceiling that it's trying to light at the same time. That, I mean, this is very well done. I really like it.
Well, I was just gonna say, yeah, I just think it's stunning. I think it does exactly what it would do, especially in this place here where there's a lot of that windows coming from the side. The only thing is I don't know control wise if you could adjust it slightly for the night scene, and make it a little more dramatic. But I think this is great.
Yeah. And one of the things that Union Station does is they'll lease this out for events. So they'll
Mm,
have a host of different activities and events in there. So they do have that control over the lights to
perfect.
introduce some color or tone it down. So
Okay.
That's perfect.
Yeah. It'd be a great space to have a party in.
Because you've lit the columns separately and the statues separately, so you can really adjust and make it pretty dramatic. So I think that would be awesome.
yeah.
And this looks like a higher up feature where you can kind of see where the lights are installed and how they go around these statues.
And we do have some, areas within there that were up on the second floor looking
Uh-huh.
straight across. So there's that played in well to not seeing the light sources
Hmm.
like we did in the past. So
Did you have any light sources directly pointed down on the ground itself?
not within the Great Hall. It's
Right.
all that reflected light in the skylights.
I
So
think it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. And on this angle, you can actually see the lights in the ground that are aiming up on the columns as well.
Hmm.
So you can, see the placement where you have two in front of this column to make sure it's well lit, and a single one for these ones that are kind of behind it.
Yep.
yeah, and again, those were solutions that we literally went on site and did the mock-up to say we want to. This is exactly where it's going to go, and then they would chisel that in.
Yeah, I was going to ask how easy it was to get through those floors, or if they replaced them, or
Well, you could tell you took the time and got the locations right. So
Yep, no notes for me. This is a great project. Nothing but
Yeah, so
compliment.
the designer that designed this, she walked away with Lit Magazine's Lighting Designer of the Year award for this one
wow.
I
in
bet.
2020. So that's how um, the the amount of time she spent working on every single detail to, and I'm sure if we went through, it'd be like, yeah, we could do this a little bit different, but this is one of those projects where you're just like, wow, it's
Yeah,
pretty spot on. So
I agree. I agree.
And it is a project where you want everything to be perfect. I mean, this is, a space that so many people going through the station are going to see it every single day. And it just needs, every project needs to be perfect, but the way that this was done just looks really well done.
yeah. So everyone, thank you for taking the time to watch today. And it was fun to go through projects that we've done, projects that we're proud of, and to still, get some additional insight into ways that we might have taken a different path or things that we might go back and tweak a little bit. So I appreciate you taking the time. If you want to continue to see these videos and participate, please like and subscribe to CharterSills. Thank you.